Hello and welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov video. In this video we're going to be looking at the difference between all three marked rooms and what loot and how much money you can make from them individually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run to the marked room on each map 5 times, record what I get from them and total up how much we get at the end, starting with customs. Now customs is the original marked room, and it used to be one of the only places you could get a key bar or a documents case before the quests to get them added. This one we get an ABS pistol and a documents case. That is an easy 390,000 rubles. Ridiculously simple to get that much money. I feel like the Found and Raid has really made all of these cases and containers worth far much more money, because if you were to find that documents case in the marked room there, put it in your secure container and die, you can no longer sell it. It takes a large amount of the population out of the game. Now the Hollow Dilnik, ridiculously expensive at 900,000 rubles. And the MDR's a good gun, so that's not too bad. That puts us up to 1.3 million rubles in 2 opening of the marked room. Ridiculous. I do think it just becomes high risk and high reward now, because these weapon cases and things you can find in here are worth so much more money because of Found and Raid, but you can also lose that money. Like the key tool here, for example, that is worth 1 million rubles, but if you don't extract with that, you lose the ability to sell it. It's still a good thing to find and put it in your secure container, but with this new change, to actually make money you need to live, and I think that just cuts down a massive amount of people going to marked room ungeared. Now I didn't count the keys and the things found inside most of the containers, because mostly they were just trash, you know what I mean? If I'd found a red key card inside the documents case, I probably would have counted that, because it would have made a massive difference. But when you find 5 grand, 2 grand keys and $54, it just doesn't make an impact, so I didn't bother getting that specific. Overall, I think the new changes have made the marked room a PvP destination where winner takes all, really. I got into a fight with a guy travelling to the new gas station, and I traded with him, but the guy I was playing with, he circled round to his corpse and found a hollow Dilnik on it, and he got out, and that was 900,000. So it just goes to show that it just makes loot so much more spaced out across the map with these changes. And now we're on to the marked room on reserve. This is the one that's at the back of the train yard building, and honestly I thought this was going to be worse than it performed. I was definitely thinking there was going to be less in this room because the sheer size of it is smaller, so I thought that would correspond to how many cases can spawn in here, but it looks like it can spawn just as much as everyone else, like every other space. I do love the SR25. The SR25 is a beautiful weapon. I've had a chance to use a couple of them this patch. I didn't get to use them much last patch, but this patch I found one on a raider, and I've just been using it. It's a fantastic weapon. Originally I was just going to make a video about whether or not the marked room keys are worth it, and I'm going to be honest, the price discrepancy is ridiculous. Like, the key is always worth buying. It's always like, you don't even have to finish the video. You should have one of every key for the marked rooms in your secure container, just in case you get the chance. They can make you so much money, it's not even funny. And it definitely feels like the loot has been consolidated a lot into cases and weapons. It's very rare to get trade items and hideout requirement items. I mean, even if you didn't bring in a key, it would still might be worth, if you spawn next to it, get close and wait for someone to loot it. Because if they get a weapons case, they can't stick that up their arse and in the secure container. And if you kill them, that's your weapon case. So I think it becomes a case of... a case, that's a pun. Anyway, I think it becomes a chance of anyone that comes in and around the marked room area could be toting millions of rubles in their backpack. And I think that just makes the PvP a whole lot juicier. But again, these numbers do hinge on the caveat that you are taking a bag with you and managing to get these items out of raid and selling them on the flea market. Their sell price to the vendors is much lower, so you're probably just better off keeping anything you die with that you can keep in your secure container, for example a key bar or a documents case. Now we're on to the marked room that is on the opposite side, next to the 3 triple to 6-story buildings. The ones that get overlooked by Dome, where the helicopter is. That general area. And I'm going to be honest, this room was more disappointing. I'm not sure if it's just RNG. It perfectly could be, but I tended to get a lot of little items in this room rather than big ticket cases. I also think this room is a lot worse than the other rooms simply because of its sheer size and how much clutter is on the floor. You know, if you came in here in the middle of the rush and you heard someone stomping down the stairs, I would constantly be worried that I've just missed a key bar. You know what I mean? Like, how easy it would be to just go in there and not spot a key bar in the middle of, being, your adrenaline's pumping, there's someone coming for you, you've got to get in and get out. It would be so easy to miss some high value, small bits of loot. And it's strange because you would think the other reserve marked room would be worse. Because let's say you're farming marked room and you need to extract now to get the Founding Raid status. So this marked room, right next to Dome, you can even go to the other building and head to Dome through the underground, if you have a Red Rebel pickaxe. And then you can get out. But if you've got a backpack full of weapon keys, and you're at the other side, you either need to go to Dome for the Red Rebel, or you need to go to the hermetic door and wait until someone pulls it. So yeah, I expected this room to be better. I expected it to be, out of the two, I expected it to be far better, just for the location of it. I just found that wasn't the case. And I think the bigger problem is there's a glue horse spawn right next to it, so that kind of really would hamper your ability to get in, get the goods and get out. Yeah, 631,000 rubles. Still profit, still massive profit compared to the key, but it's just not on the same league. 631,000 rubles to the 4.3 million or the 6.4 million in the OG marked room. There's just no, there's no competition. It's just blown out of the water. But do take my findings with a pinch of salt. It's a very small sample size, and they were done very close together. I don't know how Escape from Tarkov decides what loot spawns where, whether it's based on a server per server, a random number generator. I don't know any method behind it, so you could reproduce far different results. You could go to my worst room, the one by the helicopter, and come out with 10 million rubles. You could get double weapons case drops every time. That's the way RNG works. But based on this experiment, if I'm needing money and I want to do high stakes PvP, I'll be going over to the customs marked room. I think the best thing about the customs marked room is if you get there quick and get into the hallway, you can't be cut off because you can jump off the side of the balcony no problem. You've got tons of escape routes where the customs is concerned. But if you go to any of the reserve ones, it's very, very difficult to get out of that room if someone gets to the door before you. But yeah, every room is worth hitting. If you're on a map and you don't have another objective like a quest, or you need to hit a different room, I would recommend seeking out the marked room on that map and sticking next to it, because you could be in for some serious loot. But this does present another problem, and that is with labs being less money, LEDXs being less money, because the LEDXs are harder to get, arguably they're harder to get. Will the marked rooms now attract way more cheaters? Because it depends on the cheat. If you've got speed hacks, probably, but if you've got the ability to see what's in the marked room, that's, it's a different ball game. So if you've ever got to a marked room early on in the game and you thought there was no way someone else could have got there first, chances are you got hit by a cheater. That cheater got there first, it got out. It would be interesting to see if Battlestate Games does any form of monitoring to see if there's people that fly into the marked room on reserve and customs and have like 2 to 3 minute long custom raids and reserve raids coming out with a lot of loot, and you know what I mean, like they just fly in, get the loot, get a kill, get out. I wonder if there's any sort of monitoring for that. Couldn't tell you. But it would be interesting to see what they're doing to fight those sorts of people. In conclusion, I would absolutely pick up every key and have every key for a marked room. If you are doing specific marked room farming to make money, I would recommend customs, because there's no point in going to reserve under the premise of, well, there's 2 marked rooms. Actually no, that might be an idea, because if you're going to do a marked room farm and you spawn on customs, chances are if you don't spawn close enough, you're not going to be the first one there. But if you go on reserve, chances are you're going to spawn closer to one marked room than the other. So that's something to think about. Maybe reserve is the better one to farm on because of the 2 marked rooms and the chance to spawn closer to one than customs. So that's an interesting way of looking at it. Regardless, if you were going marked room farming, I would go in geared. Go in with at least class 5 armor and a fully automatic, because all of the marked rooms are in a close area where CQB is going to be king. And that's going to be it for this video. If you've looted marked room recently and you've got fantastic drops, drop me down a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you got. I hope you have a good day. I'll see you next time.